Hello, welcome to Feasting on the Word for this week. It is July the 2nd, 2025, a brand new month, but an ancient discipline that we catch on to as we pick up this rhythm weekly in our life of faith. This goes back to the very foundations of the church in trying to answer the question of how to approach God's inspired word. But it's more than just approaching it or reading through it sequentially. It is really trying to appreciate it. And the early church thought that the best way to do this was to take a very small piece of scripture and to live with it more fully. How did it go about accomplishing this? By reading this little passage of scripture multiple times with only silence interspersed to give that space to really ponder and think about it. So we have modernized it a little bit. We use 4 different translations of the same passage: New Revised Standard, the Message, the Contemporary English, and the New International Version. But we still maintain that same sort of space: a minute of silence following the first reading, a minute following the second, 3 minutes following the third reading, and then concluding with the fourth and final reading. That longer period of silence is intended as an opportunity for us to turn to God in prayer. And I find it helpful to have something to write with and something to write on nearby so that I can write down my impressions of the passage and then use that as that material for the prayer in that longer period of silence, which is how this passage is inspiring us, encouraging us, maybe even confusing us, but however it is that it is reaching us on this day. So without further delay, let's get into the discipline. Our passage this week comes to us from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 20, beginning with verse 45 and going to chapter 21, verse 4. And this is the beginning with the New Revised Standard Version. In the hearing of all the people, Jesus said to the disciples, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and who love respectful greetings in the marketplaces and the best seats in the synagogues and places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearances say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." He looked up and saw rich people putting their gifts into the treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins. He said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty has put in all she had to live on." Our second reading of Luke chapter 20, verses 45 through chapter 21, verse 4 from the Message. With everybody listening, Jesus spoke to his disciples. "Watch out for the religion scholars. They love to walk around in academic gowns, preen in the radiance of public flattery, bask in prominent positions, sit at the head table at every church function. And all the time they are exploiting the weak and helpless. The longer their prayers, the worse they get, but they'll pay for it in the end." Just then he looked up and saw the rich people dropping offerings in the collection plate. Then he saw a poor widow put in 2 pennies. He said, "The plain truth is that this widow has given by far the largest offering today. All these others made offerings that they'll never miss. She gave extravagantly, and what she couldn't afford, she gave her all." Our third reading of Luke chapter 20, verses 45 through chapter 21, verse 4 from the Contemporary English with our longer period of silence to follow. While everyone was listening to Jesus, he said to his disciples, "Guard against the teachers of the law of Moses. They love to walk around in long robes, and they like to be greeted in the market. They want the front seats in the synagogues and the best seats at banquets. But they cheat widows out of their homes and then pray long prayers just to show off. These teachers will be punished most of all." Jesus looked up and saw some rich people tossing their gifts into the offering box. He also saw a poor widow putting in a few cents. And he said, "I tell you that this poor woman has put in more than all the others. Everyone else gave what they didn't need, but she is very poor and gave everything she had." Our fourth and final reading of Luke chapter 20, verses 45 through chapter 21, verse 4 from the New International Version. While all the people were listening, Jesus said to his disciples, "Beware of the teachers of the law. They like to walk around in flowing robes and love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and have the most important seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for a show they make lengthy prayers. These men will be punished most severely." As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. "Truly I tell you," he said, "this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on." This is the inspired word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.